Joe, we got a very special guest on the line, man. It's our good friend here, Jermaine Kearse. Jermaine, this is Joe and Tyson. How you doing, man?
What's up, guys?
Well, thank you for your time, man. I know it's the off season, so I'm sure you're probably chilling out and trying to get away from some football, right?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm out here in Seattle just chilling, relaxing, enjoying my time off.
Well, Jermaine, first of all, we appreciate your time, and I guess we'll just start with just you coming to the Jets, man. Like, how did that all go down for you, and what was your reaction when you found that you were traded to New York?
Well, you know, early in the preseason, just some rumors of me possibly being on the trading block, and, you know, I was kind of told that, you know, to not believe those rumors, and then, you know, a week later, I ended up getting traded. But, you know, it was a bittersweet moment for me. You know, obviously the relationships that I had there with my teammates there, you know, some of those guys over there are, you know, some of my closest friends, and, you know, still some of my closest friends. And but I was excited for a new opportunity, to start a new chapter in my life. I've lived in the state of Washington, you know, pretty much my whole life and played football there my whole life. And for me to be able to have the chance to, you know, kind of just see something different, you know, kind of get out of my comfort zone and, you know, kind of see who I am as a person, you know, outside of my comfort zone and be able to experience that. So I was excited about that part.
Jermaine, my name is Joe, and I want to welcome you to the show. And I was truly excited when we got you, man, because I knew when you stepped in the building, you had all it took to be a quality receiver here, and you just absolutely did your thing this season. But I want to know, what was your first meeting with Mike McCagnon like?
He just, you know, my first meeting was literally the next day. I mean, I was on a plane. I was told, I want to say it was a Saturday. I was on the plane. It was a Friday. I was on a plane Friday night, and I got there Saturday morning. I met with him, and our meeting went well. He was just he told me he was excited to have me on his team and what I could bring to this team, and I felt the meeting was genuine, and you know I thought it went really well.
And the one thing we were real curious about is you went from Pete Carroll, who's known to be a player's coach, a really animated, fiery guy, to Todd Bowles, who's kind of a little bit more reserved, well, at least in the media he is. Well, what was it like being with Coach Bowles as opposed to Pete Carroll?
Yeah, he's definitely a little more reserved in the media. We definitely get to see a different side of Coach Bowles that you guys don't get to see. And I was the same way. When I first met Coach Bowles, I was like, okay, it was kind of trying to not necessarily figure him out, but kind of feel him out and see, you know, who he is as a person. And as the more I got to talk to him and be around him and our conversations, the more you got to see his personality and see what it was all about. And I really enjoyed playing for Coach Bowles. He's a player's coach. People call Pete Carroll a player's coach because he's high energy and he's very active. But Coach Bowles is a player coach as well. He's just not as high energy as Pete is. Pete is probably one of a kind type of coach. The dude is 65 or somewhere around that, and you would think he's like 40. But Coach Bowles, he's, you know, he doesn't show the high energy, but he definitely has high energy. He's an extremely competitive guy. He wants to win as bad as anyone out there, and that's something I really respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, you could see it. You could see like he has that passion, that pride, especially when he has like that glare in his eyes. You can definitely see it sometimes at Coach Bowles. And Jermaine, you know, you came in late with the team, and you were kind of thrown into like, here you go, you got to play. How difficult was it to learn this offense and to establish chemistry with Josh McCown?
I mean, being traded literally 4 days before your first game, that can be tough for anybody. It's a tough situation to kind of get put in, especially for me, you know, living in the state of Washington my whole life and then going clearly on the opposite side of the country. And one day, you know, after being notified that I was being traded, It was tough at first, because it's what I learned is the logistics stuff that goes with it, moving, bringing your family out there, and you had to find a balance of being able to focus on your football, because I really don't realistically I only had a couple of days when I first got there. That's I was so I got there and to playbook and be able to go out there on Sunday, not make a fool out of myself, and know what I'm doing. So those first 2 days, it really took all week, but those first 2 days I really just grinded in the playbook to learn as much as I could. I'm sure that a lot of the stuff was very similar to the stuff that I ran in college. So a lot of the names weren't familiar to me, so I was able to kind of pick up the formations pretty fast, which is the most important. I know where I'm lining up, but in the NFL, it's a copycat league. Everybody runs concepts, so they changed the name in different places. So it was more so for me to just, the verbiage and getting their verbiage down and what they call certain concepts, and being able to convert those.
Can you pinpoint a game during this season where you felt the most comfortable within the offense?
To be honest, the first game was a little bit. It was really kind of like a blur to me because everything just happened so fast. I get there 4 days, and then you go through a week of practice, and then boom, there's a game. But I really felt comfortable. I started feeling really more comfortable in Oakland second game, to be honest. So I was able to kind of get my feet under myself a little bit, kind of relax a little bit more into the game plan and in the games, being able to kind of just be myself out there. And so from that game on and moving forward, it was just a progression of just getting more comfortable. I would say Oakland was kind of the start, because I know what I was capable of. I know what I was capable of doing. I didn't get the opportunities in Seattle like I got in New York, and I knew if I was able to get those type of opportunities, I knew what I could do with them. And for me to just, kind of not spend the off season or a whole season with the team and just come in 4 days and go out there and have to perform and be productive, I felt like I feel pretty satisfied with what I was able to do with the opportunities I got, and it's something that I just want to continue to build off of, because I feel that this is just the beginning of what I could do, and I feel like there's a lot more out there for me.
And that's what I was excited about when you came in, because as you spoke about getting those opportunities here, I think that was going to, especially when you were first brought in, I thought that was going to be huge for you. And watching you blossom within this offense was absolutely awesome, because you were also a guy that was moved around. You didn't just stick at the number 1 or number 2 spot. There were times when you were in the slot. There were times when you would motion around. And I was absolutely dazzled with your production from each one of those spots. But where do you feel most comfortable within the offense? Are you a guy that likes to be put in that slot so you can dominate those slot corners? Or do you like to be at that number 2 spot and absolutely chew up those corners out there as well?
For me, I don't really see it as, a 1 or 2 or a slot receiver. I just see where I can make plays. And if that's on the outside, I feel very comfortable in playing on the outside and be able to be productive out there. But if I have to go into the slot for some plays or on third downs or whatever, I feel like I'm going to be highly productive there as well. So I don't see myself as, like a label. You hear all these labels as, oh, he's a 1, he's a 2, he's a wide receiver 3. I'm a football player, and my main goal is to make plays, and I don't care where that's at. But I feel comfortable doing that in the slot and on the outside.
Exactly. And you as a veteran receiver as well, there was a couple of young receivers we have on the roster. I heard about you mentoring guys like Robbie Anderson, Hanson, Stewart. What was it like working with those young wide receivers? It
was good. It was fun. Just the beginning was just, them getting to know me and know what I'm about and know who I am and, kind of know my background and kind of what I stand for and also know my competitiveness. I think, one thing that they probably saw first is how competitive I am. And that's just my nature, I'm a competitive person and, I think what my mindset is either you're competing or you're not. And so when I'm out there, that's what I'm thinking. And I think that's the first thing they kind of saw what I was about. But as I got to, know them and they get to know me, we started, forming those relationships, with Chad Hansen and our Darius Stewart, being able to talk to those guys and just, share my experiences of being in the league for now going on 7 years and being able to just tell them my story and be able to just share my experience for them to kind of build off of and learn and see kind of how they can go about certain situations, how they can deal about certain situations that they might not know how to. So mostly just making myself available for them. And I felt like they were very open and they took the opportunities when they had questions or they were uncertain about certain things to ask those questions to me, and we were able to have those conversations.
Once again, we're speaking with Jermaine Kearse, who's very kind to give us a few minutes. And Jermaine, how difficult was it towards the end of the season where the season was kind of like spiraling out of control, where like the losses were piling up, and it seemed like the team stayed united. It was like everybody played hard. There was no quit, which made the fans very proud of you guys. But how hard was it as a player to stay motivated towards those trying times towards the end?
I mean, I think during those times you kind of see the character of yourself, and with my mentality, I have no quit in my mentality. Whether we're 5-10 and we're going into the last game, I'm going to play that last game as if we were 10-5, and so. And I saw that out of the team. I don't think anybody kind of just gave up. I don't think anybody just kind of let down. I think everybody went hard in practice and treated it as if it was any other game. And I think that's the main thing, is to treat every game like it's a championship game. And I think that's where it starts, because now each game has no higher value than the other. And so when you do get in those playoff situations or those championship chances, there's no high expectations, no low expectations. It's just another game, because you trained your mind, you trained your body, you trained your mindset to think that way. And I think that's just the next step for us to continue to take, is, treating each opportunity as a championship opportunity.
Yeah, that's very well said, man. And as you head into the off season, as a veteran player in the league, what are some of the things you like to work on to help improve your game?
The first thing I like to do is just recover, let my body rest and get back and get healthy. I think that's the most important. A lot of guys, end the season and then go right into training. I'm definitely not one of those guys. I kind of have a scheduling of how I like to train. I like to give my body plenty of rest, so when I do start to get back into it, I can be healthy throughout the whole season, and not just OTAs, not just camp, because those things pile on, and your body has to be able to withstand those type of exertion and the torque and the pounding that you're putting on your body throughout the season. It definitely works down, but I like to just continue to just work on my strength and work on my speed, but mostly just wide receiver stuff, just getting in and out of breaks. How can I be more efficient getting in and out of my breaks? How can I set up defenders in different ways to kind of manipulate what I want them to think, so I can get to where I want to get? And just little things like that. You watch the film and you look at yourself and you ask yourself, okay, how can you manipulate what they're thinking to get them in the spot that you want them, so you can get to where you want to get? And so I think those are like the small details all wide receivers can kind of get better at, and that's something I like to really focus on.
Now, are there other receivers that you like to study to try to steal some of their tricks to apply to your skill sets?
Yeah, I like to watch other receivers. I think it's good to watch other receivers to just see, things that they do. Obviously, you're your own person and they're their own player, but there's things that you pick up, from other guys, and you try to incorporate your version of that into your game. So, I do like to watch. I like to watch Julio Jones. Such a powerful receiver who gets in and out of his breaks so powerful and so quick. Or you look at Jarvis Landry, a guy who gets the ball in his hands and he's able to yak, such as Golden Tate. I mean, he was the yak king of last year. The guy had almost 700 yards in yak, and so you watch those things and you try to incorporate those skill sets, but kind of make them your own.
Another part of the skill set that's really big for me when I watch you is your blocking. If you look at some of our running plays, a lot of those guys down the field, especially some of those corners, are cleaned up because you get your body on them. Is that something that you work on as well, or is that just all will and heart from you out there?
I think that's just effort, I would be lying to you if I told you I'm out here in the off season working on my blocking. That's something I'm absolutely not working on. It's just, I think it's all effort. It's a want to, and it's attitude. You got to want to be able to put yourself in the situation. You got to want to have the effort to do it, and that's what it really just comes down to.
Yeah, and I definitely see it out there. And another question that I wanted to ask you was, you came from Seattle. New York is a very different place. The media, very much all over you. What is it like, compared to playing Seattle, being in New York and having the media on top of you like that?
One thing I've noticed is, and this is everywhere, the media is going to love you when you're up and they're going to kick you when you're down. And that's everywhere. And that's something that I've learned in Seattle. And, I know the market in New York is a lot bigger, but, the success we had in Seattle made that market somewhat big. And that's just one thing that I just took. They're going to love you up when you're doing well, and then it's the minute that, you're not living up to their expectations, that's when they're going to kind of be harsh on you, and you got to have a balance. You got to have a balance of not getting too high and not letting the positives and the compliments kind of build your head up. And then when you kind of get in a rut or whatever, you can't get too low. You can't let them steal your energy, steal your joy of playing the game. So you got to find a balance. And for me, you just can't put too much into the media says. A lot of the media have no idea of exactly what's going on. It's so funny because the off season to me, because the February, March, April is just it's the season of all the Twitter GMs, all the Twitter coaches, the social media coaches. Everybody has a say on who should come to the team, what the team needs, who should be gone, who should get paid this, and it's just so funny listening because I hear people, you turn on the radio and you hear people talk about some situations and you're just thinking, and these guys have no idea what's going on. And but I think I understand. You like to be in the team. You like to feel a part of your team, which is totally understandable. Just needs to be. So you just kind of let it roll off your shoulder and just let them have their fun. And because, when it comes season time, you're just ready to just put that work in. Not calling you guys Twitter coaches or Twitter.
I was going to say, we're part of that. We're fans, though, so we're harmless.
Yeah, it's understandable. It as fans, I can understand, you want the best for your team. Sometimes you just don't know what's the best for your team, and that's okay, too.
That's true. Now, Jermaine, when you look back at the 2017 season, what are some of your favorite memories?
Some of my favorite memories. I felt the Oakland game was very telling to me to kind of just give me an idea of who we had in our locker room, or what team, what type of team I was joining, I guess you can say. It was a game that was pretty close until halftime, and then kind of got blown out of proportion there in the second half. But just kind of looking at everybody and just kind of seeing everybody responded to the. There wasn't any, there wasn't any heads down. Like, people felt good about what we were doing and where we were going, and I definitely saw that, and that was something I was excited about to be a part of. And so I think that's probably one of my highs. Definitely, on a personal, the 2-game stretch against Carolina, even though we lost, which I felt like we really could have won, and then Kansas City. Kansas City might have been my favorite game. But, it's just something that we can continue to just build off of, something, that starts when we report back in April. It's not something that's going to just happen during the season or training camp. What we're trying to do is going to have to start in OTAs.
Yeah, and the one big game for you guys was that Thursday night Buffalo game where the defense was dancing like crazy on the field and made it was like a viral video everywhere. So the question we had was, were you dancing on the sideline, man? Were you part of the action or no?
Nah, I wasn't part of the action, dancing on the sideline. I'm not much of a dancer. I let those guys do all the dancing. I can't do all those moves they're doing now these days. So I just, I was enjoying myself watching them and being able to kind of have fun with my teammates on the sideline. That was what I was enjoying.
Yeah, and I guess one of my last questions for you is, we talked about free agency a little bit earlier on in our show, and, as a veteran player, man, would you ever recruit somebody like, right now the hot topic is Kirk Cousins and things like that. Would you, as a player, recruit other players to come here and play?
That's a good question. I actually got to talk to Kirk Cousins. I actually got to see him a couple weeks ago at this conference that me and my wife went to. But, I saw something. This is kind of random, but I saw something with Kobe Bryant. And they asked Kobe Bryant if he would ever recruit. And Kobe Bryant's like one of my favorite athletes of all time. Like, this is somebody that I watched when I was younger and I grew up watching. He's probably my favorite athlete of all time. And they asked him if he would ever recruit anybody to come to L.A., and he said, and I'm not saying I'm on Kobe Bryant's level, but he said if he had to recruit anyone to come to the Lakers, they probably aren't meant to be on the Lakers. And that's just I kind of felt for that. I kind of agreed with that. I don't feel like if I have to go out there and put on this slang why you should be a Jet, you're probably not meant to be a Jet. I don't think one person is going to fully make a successful season. That's what's so unique about the game of football is that even though that position is very important, but at the end of the day, the football is probably the most team sport there is. It takes 11 guys to do their job correctly to have one successful play. And you got to do that for maybe, 50 to up to 90 times a game. And so I wouldn't say I'm a recruiter. I would like the guys who want to come and join, and I would like for them to see, the passion that we have playing, how hard we play, and just have our actions speak louder than our words. And that's what I'm all about. I'm going to let my actions speak louder than my words.
Very well said. Well, Jermaine, first of all, thank you very much for your time tonight. And give a message for all the Jet fans out there.
You said what?
Give a message for all the Jet fans out there.
I'm looking forward to this next season. I'm looking to have my best season yet. I'm putting the work in. But like I said, I'm going to let my actions do the talking. And, you know, it's gangrene over here, so we better do that.
Jermaine, once again, thank you so much for your time. We definitely appreciate it. If you ever want to talk some football, man, we're always here for you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Have a good night, man. Thank you.
You too.